Chapter 1320. Karl let out a howl of pure fury as an explosive icy aura surged out of the ice sword, freezing the holy warrior, grabbing its blade to death. The warrior's body fell to the ground, shattering to pieces. At the same time, the cross swords of the other 8 holy warriors had struck Karl as well. An ice armor appeared over Karl's body at once. However, the holy warriors were at the very least of pre-sanctuary level, and their cross swords had a destructive enchantment on them. Cracks appeared on Karl's icy armor, and the cross swords drew blood against his skin. Karl let out a roar, his ice sword swinging around and forcing the 8 holy warriors to retreat. Karl was bleeding profusely as the holy warriors surrounded him, both parties halting in a brief standoff. The battle between both church militias seemed to be growing fiercer and fiercer, with more and more people falling to the ground. Cries of fury filled the air, as blood sprayed everywhere and broken limbs flew. Wilbur and Michael's gazes met once more, both their expressions ashen. Just then, Michael flashed a small smile before beginning to mutter what seemed like a prayer. The next second, he lit up with a golden glow as he raised a hand, casting the glow upon the church militia knights. "For the glory of the Holy Illuminati, Lord," Michael shouted. All at once, the knights seemed to perk up as if they were on steroids. They roared in fury, charging toward the Fire Dragon God Church militia in a brutal massacre. The knights seemed to be fighting as if they hardly cared about their own lives, only attacking mindlessly with no defense. Wilbur's gaze darkened. Michael had casted a motivational spell. This was supposed to be a mid-tier spell, and could only be cast on one target. Nevertheless, Michael was somehow able to use it on a group of people, which meant it was definitely not the average motivational spell. This was probably a special divine spell that the Holy Illuminati Church had, and was more than defensive. Within just a few minutes, the church militia of the Flame Dragon Lord Church seemed to be losing. Cameron and Dawson were pulling all the weight, running around the battlefield wildly. The battle between Karl and the Holy Warriors resumed, and was growing more and more intense by the second. Karl, being at the peak sanctuary level, had been able to gain a steady upper hand over the Holy Warriors at first in terms of skill. However, the Holy Warriors won in terms of sheer manpower alone. On top of that, their charmed armor and cross swords made it so that they were neck and neck against Karl. Gary saw this, and slowly raised a hand. Behind him, the Scorpion army began making their way towards the border. Terran's brows were tightly furrowed as he stood watching all of this. The Flame Dragon Lord Church militia was clearly unable to hold up against the Holy Illuminati Church militia knights. Karl may have taken down one of the Holy Warriors, but had taken quite a hit as well. Now he was surrounded by the remaining 8 Holy Warriors, and thus unable to support his church militia. The Scorpion army had sprung into action, and the 30,000 defense soldiers behind them were ready to move any time. It was clear to Taran which side was going to take the victory. He let out a sigh, worrying for the fate of Tyria. Who knew if the Church of Holy Illuminati was going to use taking down the Flame Dragon Lord Church as an excuse to take down Gango as well? With how powerful all their forces were combined, the possibility of Gango going down entirely was honestly pretty high. Everyone knew that the Church of Holy Illuminati had much more power than this. The Fury Group had ties to the allied countries, and loved nothing more than overthrowing other smaller countries to gain power so they could drain its national resources clean.